Hey, what's up guys, Duct here, and today we are back on Hypixel Skyblock. Today we're going to be discussing Zombie Slayer and everything that contains. When making this video, we had two main options. We could either go by the levels of each Slayer, so like level 1 you get this, level 2 you get that, or we could sort the items into categories and go over each category. Today we've decided to go by the categories because it just makes a little bit more sense for the type of video we're going for. To begin with, the main things Zombie Slayer offers are healing wands, more permanent HP, a good minion, and an interesting armor set. The main items in the Zombie Slayer collection are Revenant Flesh and Revenant Viscera. Also, you get 2 HP for level 1 and level 2 of Zombie Slayer, 3 HP for level 3 and 4, 4 for level 5 and 6, and 5 HP for level 7, and a mysterious level 8. I believe in the future they're going to be adding more levels, although apparently it is possible to get level 8 and maybe even level 9 currently, but only a few players have reached that level so far. There's also 2 runes that you can get, which are the Snake Rune and Pestilence Rune, but most people don't really care about runes. Also, you could get a Smite 6 book, which is pretty good for Revenant and Reaper Falchion. Now, within Zombie Slayer, there are 3 different talismans. The Zombie Ring, the Zombie Artifact, and the Devour Ring. The Zombie Ring is an uncommon talisman that you unlock at level 2 Zombie Slayer, which reduces the damage taken from zombies by 10%. There's also an upgrade version of this, the Zombie Artifact, at Zombie Slayer level 7, which is a rare talisman and reduces the damage taken from zombies by 15%. And the last talisman in Zombie Slayer, the Devour Ring. You can unlock this at Zombie Slayer 5, and it takes 8 enchanted raw salmon, 2 enchanted raw chicken, and 39 Revenant Viscera. For each Revenant Viscera, it'll take 2 stacks of Revenant Flesh and 32 enchanted string, so this is really expensive. What it does is it heals you for 5 hearts when you kill a monster, and has a cooldown of 0.5 seconds. All in all, it's a rare talisman, so it's alright, but it is one of the most expensive rare talismans in the game, so I don't know if I would go for it necessarily. Also within Zombie Slayer, there are 3 different healing wands. The first healing wand shows up at Zombie Slayer level 1 and is called the Wand of Healing. Its ability is a small heal, which heals you for 20 hearts per second for 7 seconds and costs 60 mana. The next wand is the Wand of Mending from Zombie Slayer 3, which its ability is a medium heal, which heals 30 hearts per second for 7 seconds and costs 80 mana. And lastly, the final version of this, the Wand of Restoration at Zombie Slayer 6. Its ability is called the Big Heal, which heals 40 hearts per second for 7 seconds and costs 100 mana. These items, specifically the last one, are decent for Slayer and maybe the Campfire Trial, but they're not heavily used at the moment. Now moving on to our good old Revenant Minion. You unlock the craft for Revenant Minion at Zombie Slayer 5, and it actually automatically gives you one. It's quite a bit better than a regular zombie minion, as it gives more rotten flesh, which is good for zombies' hearts and revived hearts, which we'll talk about later, and it also gives diamonds instead of rotten potatoes, which is good for the crystallized hearts. The main problem with the Revenant Minion is that its cost to craft is super high. You need a crystallized heart and 80 Revenant Flesh, the Revenant Flesh not being super expensive, but the crystallized heart being extremely expensive. The crystallized heart takes 4 stacks of enchanted diamonds and 4 stacks of enchanted rotten flesh. This is going to set you back quite a bit of cash when trying to craft one of these. Now for the armor within Slayer. There are Revenant Leggings, Revenant Boots, and a Revenant Chestplate. The Revenant Leggings and Boots are in Zombie Slayer 4, and the Revenant Chestplate is in Zombie Slayer 5. You can upgrade the armor by killing zombies and revenants from your minions, or just killing them out in the world, although the fastest way is killing them from your minions. You can eventually upgrade this to be super strong if you get a ton of kills. And I don't know what the cap of kills on this is, but it's at least 500,000 kills, as there's one on auction right now with 255,000 kills, going for over 4 million coins. Now, a random set of this is not nearly worth that much, as you can see items going here for under 200,000 coins. Because it has such a ridiculous amount of kills, that's what it's currently going for. The armor is not 100% necessary to kill tier 4 zombies, but is very helpful if you don't have strong or superior dragon armor. Now, there actually is no quote-unquote Revenant helmet, but there are items that you're expected to use for the helmet. As for helmets people usually use with this, there's a Zombie's Heart from the regular zombie collection, which has the item ability of Healing Boost, which doubles all healing effects, including your natural regeneration and healing you deal to others while wearing, which is really good for pretty much anything. But there's also an upgrade version of that in Zombie Slayer, which is at Zombie Slayer 3, which is called the Crystallized Heart, which takes 4 stacks of enchanted diamonds around a zombie's heart, which in turn upgrades it to have another 10 defense and 50 intelligence. There's also an upgrade version of the Crystallized Heart at Zombie Slayer 6, which upgrades it to an Epic Helmet instead, and gives you 100 health and 35 defense and 100 intelligence, which is quite a bit better. To craft this, though, you're going to need the Crystallized Heart plus 8 Zombies Hearts, which is going to set you back quite a lot of enchanted rotten flesh. The Revived Heart is also necessary to craft the Reaper Falchion, which is what a lot of people use it for. And lastly, for the helmets, there's Reaper Mask in Zombie Slayer 7. Reaper Mask is actually kind of a weird one. You have less defense and less intelligence than the Revived Heart, which you're using to sacrifice to make it. You have +5 defense and -50 intelligence for the Revived Heart, which you need to craft it. Its item ability is different, which it gives you 2 times healing from all sources, which is pretty much the same as Revived Heart. But then you also get 2 times zombies from Reaper Scythe, which is pretty nice if you have a Reaper Scythe, which hardly anybody does at the moment. And it also upgrades zombie armor effect to trigger on all hits. Now, you might think I'm talking about the Revenant armor we just talked about. No, we're talking about zombie armor, which is why this is really weird. So, zombie armor is from Rotten Flesh 8 collection. Its ability is to heal the wearer for 10 HP per second for 5 seconds when hit by a projectile. So, presumably this helmet would change it to heal the wearer for 10 HP per second when hit by anything for 5 seconds, which is pretty decent, but still really weird. Also, if you're wearing this instead of your Revenant armor, you're losing out on a lot of defense that you would have otherwise had, meaning I don't see why anyone would wear zombie armor with this. I don't quite understand, but yeah, it's just really, really weird. Now, moving on to the weapons in Zombie Slayer. So there are 4 different weapons within Zombie Slayer. There's the Reaper Falchion from Zombie Slayer 3, the Voodoo Doll from Zombie Slayer 5, which, if you want to call that a weapon really, the Reaper Falchion from Zombie Slayer 6, and the Reaper Scythe from Zombie Slayer 7. The Revenant Falchion has a base damage of 90, a strength of 50, it gives you +100 intelligence, and deals +150% damage to zombies. It's a pretty decent starting weapon if you don't have an in-game weapon to use for Zombie Slayer, although you definitely would want to go for its upgrade version, the Reaper Falchion, as soon as you could. To craft it, you need the Undead Catalyst and a Crystallized Heart. The Undead Catalyst you get once you hit Zombie Slayer level 3, which is what you would be at to craft the weapon anyways, and a Crystallized Heart takes a Zombie's Heart and 4 stacks which had diamonds, which we spoke about earlier. So it's not super cheap to make, but if you plan to get the upgraded version in the future, it's definitely worth it. As for the Voodoo Doll, it's really weird. Its ability is Acupuncture, which shoots arrows from every direction around the targeted monster, and monsters hit by at least 1 arrow are slowed and receive 1500 damage per second for 10 seconds, with a 200 mana cost. And pretty much this is really bad. Nobody uses it. It's really, really bad. And it has the weirdest craft in the game, probably, with enchanted gas tears, arrows, enchanted pufferfish, a crystallized heart, and a pumpkin 9 minion. It's just a really weird one, honestly. And I definitely wouldn't go for it. Now for the Reaper Falchion. This one you might actually want to go for. It gives you +120 damage, +100 strength, 200 intelligence, you heal 10 hearts per hit, you deal +200% damage to zombies, and you receive 20% less damage from zombies when held. And it's an epic sword, so you could get somewhat decent reforges on it. The main thing is this is going to be super good for killing tier 4 revenants, and maybe tier 5 in the future. If you are going to use the sword though, you're definitely going to want to put Smite 6 on it, because pretty much the only thing this one is going to be used for is for murdering zombies repeatedly. To craft it, you're going to need a Revived Heart, a Revenant Catalyst, and the Revenant Falchion from before. You'll automatically get a Revenant Catalyst once you hit Zombie Slayer level 6, and it can also be a rare drop from doing Revenant Horrors when you're at least Zombie Slayer level 6. The Revived Heart we talked about before is super expensive, taking the 8 Zombies Hearts plus the Crystallized Heart, so technically you actually need 9 Zombies Hearts plus 4 stacks which had diamonds to craft this. So it's not very cheap to get, but if you're planning to go super high in Zombie Slayer, it's worth it because you could kill tier 4s quite a lot faster. Not to mention that you're doing so much damage to zombies that your lifesteal is insanely high, and you're healing like every ounce of damage they deal to you. So if you pretty much never want to die from doing Zombie Slayer again, this is what to go for. And the last weapon in Zombie Slayer, the Reaper Scythe. The Reaper Scythe has a base damage of 300 and a speed of 10, with an item ability called Desecration, which within 3 seconds of killing an enemy, desecrate their grave to spawn a zombie. Zombies lose 2% of HP per second, and it copies 30% of your stats up to 5 zombies at once, with a mana cost of 150. To craft this, you're going to need 3 Reaper Falchions, a stack of Revenant Viscera, and a Scythe Blade. To get a Scythe Blade to drop, you're going to have to be at least Zombie Slayer level 7, and you have to be doing a tier 4 boss. And the chance for this to drop is insanely low. So now you're probably wondering, is it worth going for the Reaper Scythe? This is a question that I honestly couldn't answer until I contacted my man, Wax Muffin. He was the first person to get a Reaper Scythe, and he actually has a YouTube channel. If y'all want to check it out, it'll be down in the description. So the first thing I asked him is if the Reaper Scythe is worth getting. His answer was Reaper Scythe right now is more of an investment item, kind of like perfect tier 12, getting it may be a good idea as it could be really good in dungeons. So basically, it might end up being super good in dungeons, but as of right now, it's not really something you need to go for per se. As he said that the Scythe, in his opinion right now, is limited and finicky, with not too much application, and it has a few niche uses, but nothing special. He's also said that it should be good in dungeons, which was confirmed by Jayavarman, who's an admin. Lastly, there was recently a buff to the weapon, which caused there to not be invincibility frames caused by the zombies when they're hitting a mob, which basically means you can actually attack what they're attacking at the same time, rather than just letting them all attack and you have to sit there and watch. So really, all in all, Reaper Scythe is not something you need to go for right now, but if you want to invest in it and hope it's like the best thing in the world in dungeons, that is definitely a possibility. Anyways, guys, that's going to be the end of my Zombie Slayer guide. I'm going to be making a Wolf and Spider Slayer guide pretty soon as well, if you want to check those out, if they're out after watching this video, or check up on the channel or subscribe to see those when those come out. Anyways, I hope this really helps out a lot of y'all, and thanks so much for watching.